Get out the way.
I didn't read it at the top. I have a whole window.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, you're ready to go then.
That was even the interview in the front.
It's a school night.
Yeah,
He's got stuff to do. On a Thursday night, and you are tuned in to Beltway Radio and Beyond, which can mean one and only thing. This is Chip Chat. Welcome to Chip Chat. I'm Chip. Who are you, Tez?
You just told him, buddy.
Woo! I got it all right.
There it is.
I was out of practice because you had to open the show last week.
Yeah.
That went very well.
Yeah, I opened it as Dracula.
Yeah. Or what was it, Captain 20, right? What's
Captain 20.
What's the guy's alter ego?
What's the other name?
So it's
well, thank
Brian,
you.
our actual engineer.
It was either Count Duval or
Count
Duval,
yeah,
or Captain 20.
There you
Captain
go.
20.
Great character. You didn't even know him.
Hell no.
Speaking of characters, we have somebody that we're going to talk to tonight.
Yes,
we have an actual guest, somebody I'm very excited to talk to. Mr. Bo Corley is going to be joining us. He's going to talk about food, bourbon, cheese.
I love all
his new cookbook. It's going to be awesome. Actually, we wrote lots of questions.
Yes, it's going to be wild.
It's going to be wild. We can't ever say that anymore.
Nothing matters.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, right?
Nothing matters.
In case you're watching this show upside down, that's perfectly acceptable, so long as you can blame it on your wife.
Yeah. Wife under the bus.
Yeah,
crazy. Anyway,
she doesn't care.
Of course not.
She's not allowed to care.
Yeah, she won against the neighbor.
Right. Yeah.
It's hands down. Well, yeah, hands down.
Yes. Also, this week keeps right on dripping for Rudy.
Sure.
Dan Snyder got played, and Salmon Alito is flying his coup flag high. That's a hard sentence to say.
That is a lot.
It was many words and also made me puke a little bit.
Oh.
That's all right. It's radio. Nobody can see that.
No,
it's going to be a packed show. Also, congratulations on your second place finish.
Damn.
Is that backhanded?
Champions League. That's all.
You're into Europe. What do you like?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's fine. There's a 3-year to 4-year plan, and we're ahead of schedule on the plan.
Yeah, and Arteta's still there. Like everything is
money
working.
is going to be spent again this year because we realize that's the only way you're going to.
The league is coming for Pep. I'm sure of it. That some of this is going to stick. Something's going to stick.
I don't think so.
They bribed enough people.
So. And who knows who he brings in over the summer.
And then the question is,
they're the Dodgers. Like,
they're the Dodgers.
Yeah, you don't know who's
City
next.
is the Dodgers.
Yeah, you don't know who's next that they're going to bring in. You're like,
I love that analogy.
That is what it is. Yeah,
City is the Dodgers.
City is the Dodgers. So I don't know.
That's funny.
Yeah, this was a real every Arsenal fan should be able to walk around with their head high and be like, yo, there was great matches. We thumped a lot of teams.
But Saka got hurt in your last game.
But even that, people are like,
he's going to be fine. He's got plenty of time.
We should ruin him for the whole next.
No, you should not.
No. This
just
season,
take your points, be happy, go enjoy your time in Europe.
Exactly. And try again next year. Again.
We finished safe.
You did
by a lot. Yeah. So that felt pretty good.
Yeah, you guys battled at the end. Either took your points and
Sean Dyche ditched the suit, got the warm-up, and all of a sudden we could win. Bench Calvert-Lewin. It's probably also part of it.
Now we go full in baseball, even though the Nats got, I don't know the last time when they played the Twins, but the night before they got drubbed.
Yeah.
And then they drubbed them the opening of the series. I don't know. I'm all right.
So we'll get around to that. Also, not relevant to the show because it didn't make the show, but I did want to just mention that Sunak's called his elections for 4th of July. And I think anytime the Brits have to vote on the 4th of July is very, very, very funny.
So foolish. And then he was out there. No one gave him
and then it rained on him.
Umbrella. Where's the person to hold?
There's nobody.
No one can hold the umbrella.
Boris fired everybody. There's nobody left at Downing Street. Boris fired all of them.
Man is just in the rain. He's just in the rain. No one just in the rain.
Would have helped the lettuce.
Yeah, would have helped. That's true.
All right. Now we got all those very inside stupid jokes out of the way.
I guess you're not following any news.
Do you have a word? Well, no, we have news. That's for later.
Stupid jokes.
Oh, yeah.
Haven't been following.
Making fun of Tory bullshit is always funny.
Of course.
Yeah.
It'll always be there to be.
It will always be there to be made.
And
fun.
he's like he's going to be the last one before.
For a good long time.
All right.
Yeah. Blair number 2. Yeah. Hopefully not Blair, though. Just saying Labor. Find better. Then you can run. You're illegal.
Yeah, I just got a new passport.
Yeah.
I just got a new.
God save the king.
Please, somebody. I hope so. It's not looking good.
It's red all over.
Oh,
that's not good.
That's not good. I guess you're gonna ask me, do I have a word?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a word.
All right. I've got a word. We're gonna see if it works. So sit back, grab some
beef.
It's gourmet time. You're listening to the best show, the only show, Chip Chat on Beltway Radio and beyond.
Sweeps.
Chip Chat here on Beltway Radio and beyond. I'm your host, Chip. With me is Tez.
Pop me up.
All right, so we get to talk to cool people every now and then, right?
Yeah, more than nothing. Not because of me.
No.
Don't worry, I'm working on it.
Even when your friends are on this show, it's because I booked them.
Yes, that's true.
But anyway, Bo Corley is a chef, video producer, bourbon expert, attempted comedian, a lot of things. He's well known for his one-take videos, which I highly encourage everybody to watch, in which he makes something delicious all while taking a very long walk to land a groaner of a punchline. You can see why we want him on this show. Yeah. So, Bo, welcome to Chip Chat.
Thank you.
Welcome, Bo.
Thank you very much. Thank you, sir.
So, I'm a big fan, right? I think your fans, are we called one takers? Is that our official title?
Yep, that's it. That's the crew.
Do we get like hats or something?
Oh,
I should get a hat.
30 seconds and you're asking for hats.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this, when I get to the point where I can afford to ship out free merch, you're first on the list.
There you go. See?
That's all he wants to hear.
That's all I wanted.
Shameless. Yeah.
All right, so I gotta ask, how did you come up with this as a presentation concept? Because I haven't seen anything like this anywhere since I've seen people intentionally making videos that sort of end where they start so that it plays on the reels like a loop. But I hadn't seen that until you did it, and with the food, nobody's doing that. Where did you come up with this idea?
Okay, so first, I'll explain the one-take thing. So for one, a huge David Portnoy Bardstown, fan, and watched his One Bite, Everybody Knows the Rules. So if you go back to, I first went viral on TikTok before Instagram, and I would do duets where I'd come on and say, one take, everybody knows the rules. And it was an unedited 1.5 minute rant of me actually highlighting chefs in a positive way. Because, this was when, Gordon and everybody was like, this is trash. And it was more of a negative tone. So I would actually go on and do the opposite. And then it got to a point where, I'll never forget it, like somebody commented and they were like, dude, you don't have to say everybody knows the rules. Just do one take. And so I dropped everybody knows the rules and just started doing one take. But inevitably, people are people. So they were like, if you are commenting and critiquing everyone else's food, can you cook? And so that's what started me doing my own content. And then I just started, going from there. But yeah, man, the one bite, everybody knows the rules was the inspiration.
Which I like those videos, but I like pizza. I feel like those things are unfair because pizza really sometimes needs a couple of bites to get the full thing.
Right. And here's
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And
the irony is he never takes one bite.
Yeah, he always takes like
he's multiple
calls it one bite, but it's really like
sure.
Several bites. He takes one bite like my dog takes one bite when I'm like, here, you can have one, and then she
it's gone.
Whole handful. So the food that you make, it's sometimes very healthy. We see you go on a bit of a health kick every now and then. Sometimes it's not, which you seem to, you ready for it? Relish when people tell you that that's not okay. And so then you tell them this is your channel and you're going to make whatever you want. How has that gone over with people?
So I am I can be a bit of an asshole in the comments when it's non-branded content, I will tell you, but
I love that.
I think that's it kind of speaks to, and I'll tell you where it comes from. There's like an overarching pretentiousness, in the culinary space.
Yeah.
Like it is just like this arrogant, it's my way and everyone else who cooks at home is beneath me. So I take that same energy, I just channel it in a different way. So if you and there's a night and day difference between how I respond to people. Like if you are disrespectful, I'm going to respond in kind, probably worse. It's just, it's just what it is. But
sure,
if you ever want to have a conversation, and what I'm doing is I'm basically trying to say the average consumer is not going to speak up and challenge you because you've worked in a 5-star restaurant, but I am. So I'll be that voice, you can give me shit and we'll go back and forth. And my hope is, the guy who's sitting at home, he'll go through the comments and kind of say, well, all right, that is a way I can try it out, or I shouldn't be afraid to fail. Just trying to go against the industry norm. Because I think overall the culinary space has just become, like I said, very arrogant. And when you look at food, it's so subjective, you know what I mean, to the person eating it. Like if I cooked one dish and gave it to 10 different people, I'd get 10 different responses.
Sure.
So why are we so particular about a space that's subjective to the person that's eating it? So,
but I almost want to riff on this point here because that's interesting. I never really thought about like the arrogance around like creating dishes, creating food for folks when the whole, I guess, concept of food and like breaking bread is supposed to be bringing people together.
Yeah.
It's like I never
like think about it. It's the opposite.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's the opposite energy for what you're doing. I mean, if you really look at like, me growing up, I'm an only child, but like when me and my mom and dad were, it's like we came together like that. That was but before we come together, we got to talk about how your plating is shitty and that wasn't crusted over the right. It's like, whoa. And then the other thing is, and I'll go on a tangent about this, like even when you look at a person's taste bud, we lose like tens of thousands of taste buds every day. And anybody who drinks bourbon will tell you, if I open a bottle of bourbon and take a 2-ounce pour and then go back to that another 2 weeks, it's probably going to taste different. That's because, so like when you factor in all these variables of something you tasted on Monday may taste different on Wednesday. And then the entire point of, in my household, man, food was a love language. Like it's how people came together. Yeah. Like Christmas, it was around the Christmas table, around the Thanksgiving table. But when we consume TV shows on cooking, it's all a competition. You have the best chefs who are trying to outdo each other. And then you have even better chefs who are critiquing the good chefs. And I'm like, bro, I'm just cooking the food so my kids and wife will come downstairs. Like, what are we really talking about? So what I wanted, the whole point, and this wasn't even the question asked, but hell
It is
with it.
very much the question asked, 'cause it's leading me to the next one.
My entire goal is to be the go-between. Like, let's get into the history of an old fashioned. Let's get into the history of A4 and A5, and let's talk about pasture raised and all these different type. But this is relatable for a regular consumer. Just let me give it to you in little nuggets in 90 to 130-second reels. And shameless plug, that was the inspiration for my book. My book, the whole point was this: I don't give a shit if you don't cook any one recipe. There's enough information in here. You're going to know exactly what to do. When you see pasture raised, farm raised, cage free, free range, you'll know what those eggs mean. I don't care if you never use a recipe. When you go shop for milk, it's the same thing and these different principles. So it's just, to me, I've never been afraid to dive into food at various different levels, like dine at the Michelin star restaurants, but then go get a shitty cut of meat and try and smoke it and make it palatable. And so now that I have this platform, it's kind of like, how do you like bridge these? How do you bridge the gap of high end eating and the 9 to 5er who's got 20 minutes after they get off and 30 minutes when they get home to create a dish?
So I was thinking about this actually today, like in preparation for this. I got up here to the studio and I was telling Brian, I wanted to tell you something, but I hope you're going to take it the right way, which I think you are after what you just said. But I grew up watching a lot of PBS, and one of my favorite shows as a kid was Frugal Gourmet. I loved the Frugal Gourmet. This was a great show where he looked like an old man to me at the time. Now I don't feel like he was so much so, but this guy was cooking food that was accessible. It was, none of this was like ingredients that you probably had never heard of. It was all totally reachable, but with elevated technique. There's no reason you can't learn technique and still use it on like stuff you get at the regular grocery store. So like when I was in school, we learned everything. We had tests on knife skills. We had all these kinds of rules and everything that we had to do. What's the smoke point of such and such a blah, blah, blah. And, now I've got kids and I just need to like nuke them some pasta and give them something that they're going to eat. Like, it is perfectly acceptable to make regular food. You can do it well,
right? But
you can make regular food. And I liked it when you're like, hey, look at these chicken legs I got on sale at the grocery store. And like
for $4.
I met this farmer who only raises chickens under the full moon in Montana when the clouds are parting, or, it's like, get over yourselves, people. Just make some fucking chicken. Like, it's food. Enjoy it. Don't be sniffing your own farts all the time. So I just wanted to say that I appreciated that. About you.
Absolutely.
I do have one question I want to ask you, which is about a controversy, not food related. So I'm gonna put that off to the side for just a second. But speaking of food related, so one of the things that I like to do with my friends is like have food. It's not really debates exactly, but it's like, what's your preference with this thing? Okay, so we're gonna talk about steaks, because this is a topic that you have a lot to say about. This is something that I have a lot to say about. People like tag me in any post about. I'm not even that big a steak guy. Actually prefer chicken and ribs if it comes down to it. But I really like cooking steak because I like all of the cool stuff you can do with it. So first off, I'm gonna tell you my favorite cut, and I want to hear what you think of my favorite cut. Are you ready?
Yeah.
The chuck eye.
Holy shit.
What do you think of chuck eye?
So chuck eye, to me, you're not a fat. You don't like a lot of fat in your steak. You like a lean steak.
It's not that lean. That's the thing, is that the chuck eye, there's only 2 of them per cow. That's the thing. So when you get chuck eye, that was either lefty or righty. And that's it. There's no other ones. It's the last cut under that chuck blade on the eye. So it has a bit of a shape like ribeye, but it's got a big divide between the two muscle groups through the middle. So it does have a big chunk of fat in the middle, but it doesn't have that fat cap like the
Right. And there's not a lot of intramuscular fat though.
It can be, depends. Yeah, I buy them when I see a lot of it, and then I freeze them and I save them. But yes, right. It's not always that.
Cool. Yeah. So no, I mean, I gotta shoot you straight. I am a fat guy. Like,
Yes.
I am a
Yes. Preach.
and not ask me, but depending on the fat content, depends on how you cook the steak. My go-to is always going to be a bone-in ribeye, because a bone-in ribeye with good marbleization, but I know I'm gonna get a huge fat cap on the end, and I just think the bone-in to me is just more tender. But like the perfect steak bite is a piece of that fat cap and then a piece of the eye, like literally cut maybe a 60-40 meat to fat ratio. But I mean, my favorite steak is an A4 Wagyu, which is heavily, it's got a lot of fat in it. To be honest, I think it's got more fat than flesh. But again, that's just my personal preference. But what's interesting about that is I will, and I'm going to get persecuted for this, but I don't care. I prefer that steak cooked closer to well, because it's so much fat that if you cook it medium, which is my go-to, the fat really doesn't render.
Yeah.
It doesn't. When you have that much intramuscular fat, I feel like you got to take it past the 140 to really let that render down. But again, that's why you pay for that cut. And now, grocery store ribeye, you got to go mid rare.
Yeah. I've read that especially with the Wagyu stuff, that like you really ought not eat more than a few ounces of it at a time, because of that amount of fat that you're like going to consume, and that it can really like mess your gut up.
So that's what's got my doctor on.
That's what that's
No, the sodium, it's the sodium. The sodium's absurd. It is absolutely, think of the highest sodium thing you can buy at the grocery store. It is absurd. And the first time
Wagyu beef is basically bacon, right? It's got so much fat kind of cut in with the muscle that you can cut these very thin slices and grill it, or just heat it up a little bit on either side, and it comes out really good. I've had it like that. It's really tender.
It's delicious.
Yeah, and great flavor, but I know it's not good for me.
Sure.
I know that. I'm still eating it.
Right, for sure.
So, all right. This is going to go a little rapid fire. Reverse sear / sous vide, is it good, and can regular humans do these things?
A lot of work, and yes.
All right. You want a good trick for the reverse sear? You got your grill going, put your steaks on the totally opposite side, away from the fire, and let them just start to render a bit while you're cooking your chicken or whatever you're doing. And then at the very end, 2 minutes aside, nothing more. Get them out of there. Okay, salt and pepper or more?
For what?
That's a great
strip steak, ribeye, any basic regular human steak.
I can't answer that straight away. I'm gonna go salt only, and then pepper, because a lot of people go past 350, and that's the point where pepper burns. That's when it tastes like shit.
Really?
So you need to sear and then pepper at the end.
That's a really good tip.
Okay, grill or pan?
Pan.
Oh,
hey!
Them's fighting words.
Pan. When I cook, look, wait. Disclaimer: when I cook a steak on a grill, it's because I specifically want that taste.
Yes,
you got to do a pan, butter, base, herbs, garlic. Come on, man.
My pan / grill decision is made by Chuck Bell in the morning.
Oh,
It
outside.
tells me whether the weather is going to allow me to grill it or not.
That's fair. That's fair as well too. You can't go outside in the rain.
Yeah, I mean, I
You
have
could,
I have a
but, yeah,
plancha.
no
I
one wants to
can
fucking
grill
do
it on
that.
my.
No, yeah.
I do grill on my stove on my plancha, which whole nother thing. That wasn't one of the options. Okay, temps before cooking. Now this is really the question of should you get your steaks out of the fridge for a couple hours before you're going to cook them, or is it okay to put them on cold?
It does not matter, and I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to tell you why. I have let a steak get all the way to room temperature, and I have grabbed a steak fresh out of the freezer into a pan and cooked it, and damn near got the same results.
There it is.
There you go. That's the expert opinion. Take that, Alton Brown. Okay. Are we resting steaks or not?
Absolutely.
Good answer. Correct
Non-negotiable.
Correct answer.
Yes.
I had some people, I posted this one this week just to get for background. I wanted to be ready. And, if you've got people over, you're resting your steaks whether you meant to or not, because a lot of stuff's coming off all at once. You got to set it to the side or whatever. But if you're not resting your steaks, you're cheating yourself.
Yeah. Do you tent them always?
Oh, good question.
No, not always. Not all. The only time I tent is when I take the garlic and rosemary and herbs, and when I put that, you ever you get it out of the pan and there's like that pool of butter. If I put that on top of the steak, I'm gonna tent.
Yes, that's really the tips are down.
You know what I'll do is I'll grill a slice of onion to go with it, and I'll just leave that sitting on it while it's resting, and that's my tent, right? And then with the butter soaking into the onion, dynamite. Okay, would you trust anyone who eats well done steaks with ketchup and maybe has a weasel for hair?
You lost me at well done steak. No.
Wait. Print it.
The weasel for hair. So I'm sure
we're not sure what it is.
It's the weasel. It should have ran away.
It was the only thing that wasn't falling asleep all week. All right. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take a break and play a song, recombobulate ourselves, recharge your flagon, as they say, and then we will come back with the next. What? I'm being fancy.
Well, I'll give you fancy.
Recharge your
Brian's got a fancy song.
I got fancy. Yes. We're going back into the 60s.
Oh yes.
Yeah, this is if you remember the Ed Sullivan Show. So this is a new group. I
don't remember Ed.
Yeah,
we've got a brand new group.
From somewhere in the Midwest.
They're from Detroit.
Clearly. Most of these groups are from Detroit, but we'll say it's technically from the Midwest. And they have this one of various hit songs. So pretty much we'll say, ladies and gentlemen, we have the Clapbacks here on Chit Chat
Radio
and Beyond.
We'll be right back.
The Clapbacks.
Yeah.
She's a bleach blonde, bad-filled foot body. She's a bleach blonde, bad-filled foot body. She's a bleach blonde, bad-filled foot body. And she better not talk about nobody. Marjorie Taylor Greene is built like a shake machine. Nick Nolte in the face, cereal box in the waist. She better learn her place, 'cause she's about to catch a case. Talk about a black woman's lash, she'll definitely whoop your ass. She better get her face right, 'cause she looks like a pack of Bud Light. Bad-filled foot body. She's a bleach blonde, bad-filled foot body. She's a bleach blonde, bad-filled foot body. And she better not talk about nobody.
leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat your ass. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat you. I will eat your ass. I'll barbecue your ass flat. I will cook your ass up so fast, and I'll tell them, "Oh, I killed a cow out back, baby." You think Christ would eat somebody? He would never do that. I will. I'm ready to hang them up, gut them and skin them and chop them up. You know what? I'm ready. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat your ass. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat you. I will eat your ass. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat your ass. I will eat your leftist ass like corn on the cob. I'm ready. I will eat you. I will eat your ass. That's why I want the globalists to know. I will eat your ass first. I swear to God, if it's the last thing I do, I'm gonna get my hands around your throat.
All right, welcome back to Tim Down here on No Way Radio and Beyond. I'm your host, Tim. With me is Ted.
What's up, y'all?
Hey, Bo. Now look, you're a real chef and cookbook author and all that stuff. Do you have a recipe ready for barbecuing your neighbor?
Wait, what? Sorry, I'm trying to. Hold on, man.
I told you to recharge your flagon.
I see why.
I'm glad that you had the response I had the first time I ever watched it.
Yeah. One of our favorite things to do is watch Alex Jones videos.
I didn't even know they was doing shit like that to the first time I saw that.
Y'all didn't even give me a warning, a heads up. Shit.
No,
I am woke now.
Yeah.
How'd you like the new Motown hit?
That, first of all, that's the more jarring one. We just doing that with AI. We just ready. It's out the barn. It's gone.
I mean, we talked about it on this show a few times. We've had several artists on. We even wrote.
It's a funny song. I will say that.
It's a very funny song. We've like a Bud case of Bud Light.
Case like Bud Light made me laugh. That made me laugh.
That was something. Yeah,
we're here. It's okay. So that's where we're at with the AI. Good to know. Regulation now, please, please, good God.
Chuck's trying. All right. So Bo, you like controversy, I think is fair to say. Is that an okay way to put it?
Absolutely.
Okay. So you had two moments fairly recently where you tripped across a line, let's call it. I don't know exactly what to call it, but one of them involved simply that you were watching basketball and got into a dribble in the comment section. What happened there?
So in an organic moment of my wife and I sitting down at the dinner table, she said, "You want to watch the women's basketball game?"
Yeah.
And I'm going to be honest with you, that was a first. So as anybody who follows me knows, especially on Facebook, because that is like a day in the life, I posted.
Sure.
No shit. Legit just turned on a WNBA game while eating dinner. That's the post I made. After I made that post, I was called soft.
What?
And I got time today rule with 2 comments a day. 2 comments a day I'm actually going to pay attention to.
It's a good rule.
So I screenshotted them and I reposted his comment, and but yeah, that was my offense. My offense was actually saying I was watching women's basketball.
Millions of people happen to watch women's basketball. In fact, more of them watched it than the men's in the Final Four.
Yeah, and I mean, like, that shouldn't even be like, especially where women's basketball has come out over like probably the last 8 years.
Yeah.
Even if we look
right,
like that shouldn't even. That seems like a regular comment to make.
The Bullets haven't won a championship since I was 1. The Mystics a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
Much better.
But obviously, we know the outrage The outrage machine online is always going.
So was the idea that you were watching basketball while you were eating dinner the offense, or that it was specifically women's basketball? Because I will tell you that my poor mother had to, raise me and my brother watching March Madness with my dad without speaking to her for 2 weeks.
No, the offense was definitely, and you know what? And that's why I posted the conversation, because that gentleman I won't even mention his name, but he went on to say they're nothing but a bunch of lesbians anyway. So like when he said that, I was kind of like, oh, okay, I get it. You just got a problem with women.
Yeah.
Oh, all right, fair enough. So now I'm gonna repost you, and the one takers are gonna clown you like we always do. So it had nothing to do, because like I have promoted basketball and like watching basketball. My son is a highly recruited receiver. So I've promoted sports. The issue was it was a women's basketball game. So hey, it is what it is, man. Like I said, I had time when he said that.
All right. So speaking of time, we want to ask you about 2 food-related controversies that you got into, which one of them does require a small bit of background information. For most of our lives, we all knew that when you opened a package of chicken, you should wash it. And when you open a chicken, from the grocery store, you should wash it. You should not with soap. Idiots.
No, yes, please clarify.
No, you need to clarify.
Clarify.
You should the chicken and get the goo and chicken juice off of it. A couple years ago, the FDA and some other CDC maybe, everybody basically said, look, you're not actually removing enough stuff off of this chicken to make any difference.
Splashing it out,
but you are splashing it now all over your kitchen. So you basically shouldn't bother to wash the chicken. And like to a person, everybody I know said, whatever, I'm still going to wash my chicken. They didn't care. This was one of those things that were like, okay, I guess it kind of makes sense. But like, I've been washing my chicken all this time, and like, I haven't got salmonella from my walls because I'm not licking my walls. So it's probably all right. And like, paid it no mind. Recently, you opined on the chicken washing, which then led into the probably dumbest thing I think I've ever heard anybody say about washing what?
Cheese.
Huh?
Bro.
What they washing the cheese with?
Listen, and can we please give the disclaimer that I did not pull this out of my ass? This was posted by probably top 3 food accounts on Instagram. This is, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, Bo, you're just posting that to get followers." Somebody sent it to me. I had no intentions on recording that day. I was so appalled by it. Before I knew it, I was in the kitchen recording. Literally, let me explain this. I'm glad you're sitting down. People are buying bagged cheese.
Shredded cheese.
Shredded cheese. And taking it home and washing it. They are rinsing the anti-caking agent of either, I don't want to go down this rabbit hole.
What is this, like the glucose or something back?
Cellulose. And cellulose can be the inside of bark. It can be and I jokingly call it sawdust.
Yeah,
Whatever. My whole point was this, and unfortunately, in a minute and 30 seconds, I can't convey this. I have 4 kids. If you go to the grocery store and you buy bagged cheese, I am not judging you. But if you buy bagged cheese and you got enough time and energy to take your ass home and wash the cheese, just get a block of damn cheese and shred it. What are we even talking about? Then after you wash the cheese, buckle up. Even after you wash the cheese is now soggy. So you have to squeeze all of the water out of the cheese, and you now have a soggy ball but you bought shredded cheese. Not to mention that per every 16 ounces of cheese, it is 74 cents cheaper to just get the damn block. And that is the end of my rant.
I don't explore the internet enough because I didn't even know this was happening.
I
didn't either.
Know that people
when I tell you, I have never had a more organic piece of content than that day. because somebody legit sent it to me like, Bo, they out here washing cheese. I'm like, man, get the fuck out of here. They ain't washing like, you lying to me, man. Like, quit trolling me, man. He like, nah, bro. Here go the link. I'm like, nah, this got to be. They like, nah, here go a tip. I'm not gonna call out the account. And here's what's crazy. The account, I've done business with this account before. I'm like, they got, so I'm in the caption like, oh man, they gotta be trolling. Like, there's no way. It's people in the comments like, oh my God, thank you for the suggestion. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? So
cheese.
Yeah. What? Okay.
Bad shit crazy
about this offline a couple of days ago. That like, out of purely convenience, I mostly just keep block o cheese available because my kids are like hungry and I'm like, here, have a little chunk of cheese or whatever. And like, I also have bags of shredded cheese. Who doesn't have that? It's fine. You're fine. You've been eating this your whole life. You're fine. You don't even want to know what the cheese at Taco Bell is. And you're down in chalupas left and right. You don't care about that.
Yo, it's wild what people get caught up on. Like,
and this is what people missed. I'm not judging you for the bag cheese. It's a fucking bag of mozzarella cheese in my refrigerator right now. You want to know why? Because when I'm lazy and I don't feel like shredding fresh, for one, the authentic Parmesan cheese I buy is expensive as shit. So if I can get a bag, I'm not about to sit. If I'm gonna sit here and wash this cheese,
wash it.
It's insane. And there's like, you got to put it in a colander. You got to let it air dry. And it's just like, what are we even doing?
You know, my anti-caking agent.
But these same people, I don't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
These same people who are washing their cheese are giving me shit because I'm telling you to wash your chicken.
Right.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah. So that you're not on food internet, but food internet is a wild place.
That's wild.
And people get into very personal fights, like Kendrick and Drake level fights over washing cheese and chicken.
Washing the chicken, like, all right,
fine.
We're here with, like, I might be able to go and agree with it, but the cheese is crazy.
If you shred your own cheese at home, which I often do simply, like I said, out of convenience because I've got it there, and you want to keep it from caking up, put it in the damn freezer for a few minutes. That pretty well works. Like,
washing cheese.
I never heard of this.
Except
in the cheese making process, of course, where you wash it and take it out, wash the rinds.
Now I will say this,
the whole process to that. But
I will say this, and you know, I grew up in debate, so I can always argue the affirmative and the negative. To support the affirmative, washing your cheese once will give you perspective on how much shit is on shredded cheese.
Sure.
Because if you look at the video I did when I washed the cheese, this water looked like absolute shit. I mean, it was completely cloudy. And so, and I go, hey, look, this is the anti-caking agent that's on your cheese. So when you look at it in the window, it looks all nice and neat and it's not a clump at the bottom of the bag. This is what they sprinkle on it. And what I didn't get, the part that I cut out is the larger, like when you go to Sam's, Costco, BJ's, the larger the bag, the next time you're in Costco, BJ, Sam's, your listeners too, pick up a bag of shredded cheese, shake it, and then look at the bottom corner. It'll look like a corner of flour.
Wow.
The other thing to know, to point out, if you're old enough, you can remember that your shredded cheese used to turn moldy in the bag in the refrigerator pretty quickly. And
It doesn't
anymore. And that's nothing nefarious. It's citric acid, which is a good anti-molding agent. It's in a lot of bread and all kinds of, it's vitamin C, in case you didn't know what citric acid is. But like, it's that and the cellulose that are making shredded cheese like a thing you can just grab and throw in your salsa and make queso if y'all want to. But
here's the thing, and let me circle back to the washing the chicken thing. The washing the chicken thing for me is twofold. Whenever I wash chicken, there's always citrus, lemon, lime, oranges. There's always salt. You're washing your chicken, but it's also a brine. And there has not been a person yet that I have said, all right, we've argued 6 different comments on Facebook. Do me a favor. Go get 12 wings. I want you to, quote unquote, wash 6 of them, don't wash 6 of them. Cook them how you was go cook them. If you hit my DMs and you tell me you can't taste the difference, I'll delete my post. I've never had to delete a post.
Now the
I
brine
think
and
there's a
loan,
big
that's
difference. But there's wash your chicken, which is like run it under the faucet for a little bit and get the stuff, versus ice bath with a bunch of lemons. That's very different things. And I don't think that people are mistaking those things. The FDA is not telling you not to brine your chicken. They're telling you there's no point in running it under the tap for 5 minutes. That's the difference.
Here's the problem with okay. I guess I'll go on this rant. Every FDA, USDA, blah, 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 blah. For one, if you look at not the results of the test, but how they conduct the test. For one, when a tester hits a farm, out of 10,000 eggs, he may look at one of them. So when you have an FDA person who if you look at how they tested that chicken, they had chicken on a counter and were spraying water over it. So I'm sitting here going, hold on a second. My kitchen sink is like 11 inches deep. If I put the chicken in here, it's not fucking 1980. The faucet disconnects where I can pull it down and I can rinse off. And as I'm rinsing off the chicken, no brine. To your point, let's not even talk about the brine. As I'm rinsing off, I can see gunk, yellow shit, the same shit that's on the cheese, same color. If that water is not clear, that to me, and that's just my personal opinion, it is a hill I'll die on. If the water's not clear, the chicken's not ready to be cooked. It just doesn't make sense. There are oxidation. From the moment a chicken dies, oxidation plays an impact in how that chicken looks. If we really went to the grocery store and looked at chicken, steak, ground turkey, whatever, in its natural state, we'd never buy it because it would look unappetizing.
Right.
They put additives in the food to make sure that when we go look at a steak, it looks red in the packaging.
Right.
But the truth of the matter is, if we let oxidation happen, the steak would be gray.
Yeah.
The same with chicken. So to me, and what always is interesting is like, look, you've got two options: wash your chicken or not washing your chicken. So not washing your chicken, what do you gain? Absolutely nothing. You mean to tell me if you put the chicken down in the bottom of your sink, rinse it with some water, don't even do the brine, and you can eliminate some of that gunk, you're not going to do that?
Yeah,
when they're only testing less than 1% of the shit that's in the grocery store anyway?
I don't know anybody who actually changed their habits after this stuff came out, number one. Number two, like, you know, every time there's something they determine, oh, well, you got to do this to make your turkey or that, you know, here's the best method, the newest method. This is, you know, it's like if your grandmother did it 20 minutes a pound, stuffed it in the oven at 325 and it worked, she was right. Just keep doing it the way she did it. There's
People are more sicker now than they were then. So grandma knew what she was doing.
Right.
Yes.
All right. Let's shift gears a little bit here. You ready for another bad one? Recently, you have branch watered out into bourbon.
Jeez.
That was so bad.
That's bad.
That's like a brick wall bad.
Give you the bell. No bell for that.
Bourbon and branch water.
Yeah.
Did you know that's a thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I've heard.
I know you knew that's a thing. We drank a lot of.
Yes. I was going to say, what are you talking
about? What got you into such, and I want to heavily emphasize, expensive hobby?
I have always been into bourbon, but as my pairing experience, I'm trying to expand like my pairing palette per se. I'm not a wine guy. My wife's a wine guy. Or sorry, she's not a wine guy. My wife's the wine drinker in the house. But and let's just be honest, there's been a surge of bourbon creators on social media, and I gotta shoot you straight. I was kind of like, man, no shit. All right. And so like it just kind of got into this thing of the same way with food, you know, how do I expand? I will tell you this, part of it was financial. expanding my brand. There are some distilleries that have reached out and want to do content. So, you know, I got to know what I'm talking about.
We would like to be friends with them.
Right.
Dee Still, you know, friend of the show.
Yes.
She is a sort of a big deal when it comes to stuff about spirits and things. And she goes on all these trips and goes to all the manufacturing facilities and tastes everything and makes all these great videos and stuff. She's lovely. We even had her come and live mix a show once. I think that was before you were here, but you know, like live DJ.
Yeah,
she live
mixed,
mixed drinks for us. Yeah, it was pretty great. That is a very time-consuming way to make content, though, because there's no like quick videos about. You have to spend a lot of time on that, right?
Well, yes and no, and I'll give you a real-world example. Here's the when you, I'm gonna sound like a prick, but when you've got 2.5 million followers, right, and you've been doing food, and there's a very specific way you do food, you nerd out. You don't use profanity in any of your content. You're the wholesome father of 4, blah, blah, blah. So if you look at my most recent video, which was a recent deal I did with an ice making company, and I don't do a lot of bourbon content, as you know, but he was like, if you can disseminate my product the same way you talk about Spiceology and all these other brands, I'll work with you. And you just, it's just a matter of, having the platform. But again, I kind of feel like when you work with a brand to a point where you treat their product like it's your own, you just got to be available in the different niches. Look, I learned very early on, you can't do the same thing on social media. I would love to just do food, but I got to do food. I have to do drink. I've got to do the all encompassing culinary experience, if that makes sense.
You have to be everything. Yeah.
Sure.
One of our best interviews we ever did was with an ice making guy.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
This was one of your favorite things. We had a guy on who has a thing for making ice. Company's called Ice Made Clear. And we had the inventor on, and we asked him a lot of these questions, and he did not seem to get what he didn't know what he was getting into, I think is fair to say. Speaking of which, your new cookbook is coming out October 1st. I have already pre-ordered my copy. I can't tell all the listeners that they better hurry up and do it before they run out. What can people who don't cook as well as me learn from it? And also, do you need someone to write the foreword? Because Roger Mooking told me I could help you with that.
So
what the fuck?
I'll show you the tweet.
Fuck y'all!
So if you are remotely interested in not only cooking better, but shopping better, get this book. Sure, whatever level of cook you are, but when you're at the grocery store and you see all these options and you want to know what these options mean, get this book. That's like and it sounds so stupid to not sell the recipes, but to me, the recipes are second. I want you to get this book for the wealth of information we poured into it.
It's important to understand food, and a big part of understanding food is understanding the ingredients. Technique you can learn. That's just trial and error. But understanding your ingredients, why is it that you're selecting this lemon over that lemon? You know, that those kind of things are important. Okay, so where can everybody get the book? So
right now, go to Amazon. Go to Amazon, search Dinner in One Take, and hit the pre-order.
There you go. Okay. Are you ready for this thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, normally when we have a guest on, we make them play this game called Florida or Not, where we make them guess whether a news story happened in Florida or not. But in this
Florida or not.
There you go. In this case, we know that you like bad puns, which is, something we're very fond of on this show. Tess has a whole bell dedicated
Bell
to it.
is just, dedicated to.
And we know that you like food, and so we've come up with a series of famous people food puns where we're gonna give you, the setup and see if you can guess the punchline. Are you ready to play this incredibly stupid game?
I'm not, but let's do it.
Okay. Do you want to get the first one?
Sure. A producer from New York City in some legal trouble.
Shit, that's the hint?
Yes.
A producer from New York City in some legal trouble.
Yeah.
He resides in Miami now.
Yeah. And he's a bad boy.
For life.
I mean, Diddy, Khaled.
Yeah.
I love Khaled. Just took it straight right there.
He just got the L. Took an L. He didn't
Khaled
even
just took it straight. But
all right, now make it food related.
Obviously, Diddy.
Yes.
Here's
It's
another
previous,
hint. His actual name.
Yeah.
The John and Macy's.
John and Macy's. Wow. Sean Combs. I'm lost.
Okay, yeah, you got
Go
the
ahead, give
beginning
it to
of
him.
Sean Puff Pastry Combs.
There you go.
Okay. All right. Okay. I got the vibe. Give me the next one.
All right. A bitter herb from Georgia currently serving in Congress. This is a bad one.
This is a terrible
This is what
one.
gave me the idea. This was the first thought I had, and I was
A
really
bitter herb from Georgia currently serving in Congress.
Yeah.
She loves CrossFit.
Yeah. She looks like Bud Light.
She's the butch body.
You know what? I'm gonna decline this. I'm gonna decline answering
I'll
this.
say it's Marjoram Taylor Greene.
Okay. All right.
That's bad.
Not so bad.
All right.
All right. A boxer who loves dino nuggets. This one here.
This I thought was a gimme.
They have a what would this be?
He's about to fight that YouTube guy.
He was gonna fight
Is he not gonna fight the YouTube
Mike
guy?
Tyson Nuggets.
Yeah.
Yes, there it is.
Hey, okay.
Exactly. That's exactly.
Was that it? Exactly, Mike Tyson Nuggets.
Yeah, Mike Tyson chicken. That was
Okay.
the joke.
All right.
Yeah, that is
All right. Celtic star and French fry precursor.
Current Celtic star.
Yep.
It's not Jaylen Brown.
It's not Larry Bird.
Well, it's a current star, right?
Yes, he's current. Yes, very current.
out of the school
Currently
of out of
playing.
the school of Kobe.
Yeah.
Jason Tatum.
Yes,
Ooh,
yes.
Wait, Jason Tater.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
You got it.
There it is.
This is a long walk
This
for
is-
a terrible joke. So I hope you can hit it.
Okay.
What do the pizza makers at Papa John's spread on their boards as they prepare the pizza? This is
Spread on their boards as they prepare the pizza.
You have to know what you throw on the board as you're stretching the dough and all of that, and also who is one of the owners of Papa John's, or maybe largest franchise.
Wait, well, I mean, you gotta be talking Shaq and
Yes.
flour. I'm trying to get the.
What do you see them spreading before? It's not flour. It's something else. It's on the bottom of the pizza.
makes a great porridge for us West Indian friends.
There you go.
I'm lost, and I have
Oh, you
no
wanna hit him
problem
with it?
admitting.
Shaquille Cornmeal.
There you go.
Okay. Cornmeal.
This is really bad.
Jesus.
That's fucking terrible. It's so bad.
Shaquille
We got one
Cornmeal.
more good joke.
All right.
One more bad joke. All right,
Okay.
this one. What kind of fruit does a duet with Taylor Swift?
Also on the latest Beyonce record.
Yes, also that.
Oh man, the country one.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a
He's
lot
on.
of stuff on his face.
He flipped. He took the rap money and then flipped the country.
Man, I don't know. I'm not.
Post Malone or Post Melon.
Post Malone.
Oh, okay.
Adam Malone.
One.
All right.
Those were good. Those were good.
Is an NFL player who is about to need your cookbook as he has to cook entirely for himself, by himself, without his wife's help at all. I'll give you another hint. He doesn't do any of the real football playing. Unless you need
What team? Give me a team.
Kansas City.
Okay, so okay. What's the word play here?
There isn't. This is just making fun of him because he needs
Travis
a cookbook.
Kelce.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's Harrison Butker. I just
That's
wanted to say
nice.
Butker on the air. It's very funny, and I think he needs your cookbook, which I'm going to send him a copy.
Nice.
DJing for ourselves.
Yeah,
Highest
that one
level
was
there.
pretty funny.
Um,
Okay, Bo, you successfully made it through our very, very stupid game, which we appreciate your patience
Thank you so
with.
much for your patience.
No, no problem at all.
Tell everybody how they can follow you, get your content, get the books, and all of that kind of great stuff.
Cool. So definitely follow me on all platforms, Bo the Goat TV with 2 T's, and head to Amazon and search Dinner in One Take and hit the pre-order. Your
Smash the
card will
pre-order.
not be charged until October 1st.
There you go. October 1st is when it comes out. If you're real quick, you can have it that day. Which means that your guests coming over October 2nd are going to be happily fed.
We hope so.
Before that, you've only got peanut butter and jelly. From now till October, that's it.
Right,
Sorry, you
struggling.
don't know how to do anything else. You'll never survive without it.
You'll never survive.
It's like Pledge Drive. It's like, you value this service. You should pay for it. Why?
Sure.
Don't just watch the videos, but do watch the videos.
Yes.
Okay. But we know that it's a school night, and we appreciate you staying up so late with us. So do you have anything else you want to tell the people before we let you go?
No, I just want to thank you guys for having me on the show. It's been a pleasure. It's been a blast. Love that game. But yeah, thank you.
Thank you for hanging out with
Appreciate
us.
you, Bo. This
We're
was a
very
dope-ass
sorry
interview.
about the game.
No, it was a ball. It was definitely a ball.
We appreciate your patience. All right, we're going to take a break. Let Bo go get some sleep and write another cookbook. You're listening to Chip Chat here on Beltway Radio and beyond.
Sweeps.
stayed up late last night, so I had half the Turbo Force this morning. The vitamins, the minerals, the amino acids. The vitamins, the minerals, the the vitamins, the minerals, the amino acids. The vitamins, the minerals. That's Turbo Force. 5 different types of caffeine. Doesn't have the crush. 5 different types of caffeine. That's Turbo Force. 5 different types of caffeine. Doesn't have the crush. 5 different types of caffeine. That's Turbo Force. Plant derived. 500 milligrams. Slow burn. The very best. I want a long burn. Plant derived. 500 milligrams. Slow burn. The very best. That's Turbo Force. I tell you what, I'm feeling a lot of energy. My brain's sure working good right now. Good right now. Good right now. Pre-workout, next level Turbo Force. Turbo Force. Pre-workout, next level Turbo. It's Turbo Force. And get the fish oil.
Went into the
Tripping out. Welcome back to Chip Chat here on Beltway Radio and Beyond. I'm your host, Chip. With me is Ted.
was probably out
That was Turbo Force.
5 different types of caffeine.
It's Turbo Force.
That's
Oh
what
my
started
goodness.
the Frog's game.
Yes, it's all the caffeine that he's selling.
What the plastic falling from the sky? Never mind. Sorry.
You and the raining plastic.
It's
It's
raining-
always you're just bumming
It's
people out.
raining plastic.
It's always raining plastic.
No, it used to be acid rain.
The Pointer
Ah,
Sisters had a
the
whole
great
song
days
about
of
this.
Acid rain.
Yeah, right.
Now it's plastic
Or the
rain.
Weather Girls, right? It's raining plastic.
Yeah.
It's raining plastic. Hallelujah. Oh, that's not how the song goes.
It's not how it goes.
All right. Special thanks to Bo Corley for hanging out with us. That was a great interview. He's a lot of fun.
Great fucking interview.
Smart, fun guy. He'll probably never talk to us again.
No.
Which that's how this show works.
Yeah. And sometimes, they come back.
Sometimes. Speaking of people who keep coming back, you know that thing about there's certain fish species,
Yeah.
that like they're born in a river or creek and stuff, and then they swim downstream, and then
Yeah.
they go live out in the
And they always come back
ocean,
home.
and then they always come right back.
Yeah.
What's the famous one of those?
It's the salmon.
The salmon.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you'd like to go fishing for them, I hear you can get some billionaires to pay for it if your name is Salmon Alito.
Yes.
Turns out also to be a neighbor. I did not know that.
Wow.
On the other side, he's on the Alexandria side. Like I'm bordered. It's a dangerous neighborhood I live in.
See him at Giant.
I did not know. I haven't seen him. Lord knows he doesn't go to Giant.
Yeah.
He has people who do that for him.
Obviously.
So Salmon Alito, apart from being the current number one shithead on the court, I think that's his title. That title.
Yeah,
right?
I would say.
Number one shithead. Yes.
Yeah, because his questioning, what did he have that weird ass question he asked about the unborn children?
Yeah,
That
he's
was
like,
just really
nobody's
like, what-
asking about the unborn children
I
here.
was
It's
like,
like, that
what
wasn't
the-
what this is about, you idiot.
Oh,
Whether people in Idaho can kill women.
oh,
And he was like, what about all of their unborn children? And we're like,
not what we're talking about,
hey.
but yeah.
Sammy, focus. So, as it turns out, while he's busy trying to undo the rights of women and, anybody else who isn't him, he was kind of actively involved in trying to overthrow the government in the United States in a very weird and wavy way. What was he doing, Tez?
Well, as he would say, it was not him.
It wasn't him.
It was his wife.
It wasn't
And
me.
his wife was flying one of those flags. The first flag, I assume, was upside down, right? That's the or
So
no,
the first,
appeal to heaven
no,
was-
that's the second one.
appeal to
We
heaven
haven't
was-
got to that one yet.
Ah,
Go to the upside down U.S. flag. So,
yes.
as some people probably know, the sort of international symbol of distress, right? For
Grievance.
for distress
yes.
of naval vessels. Let's say you're on a ship at sea, you have been boarded by pirates, or you're in some other distress. You got a hole in the side of the hull, whatever, right? You fly your flag of your ship or of your country upside down, and that's supposed to signal to anybody else coming by, hey, this ship is in distress, from a distance that they couldn't hear you yelling help, help, help.
So some maritime shit that.
Yeah, and if you happen to have one of those flags and it's really difficult to tell which side up and which side down, like the Union Jack, then maybe nobody comes to help you. And that is sad, and sorry about that.
Your boat sinks?
Yeah, it happens. But if you have like a regular people flag that it's very obvious which way's up and which way's down, like your maple leaf is facing the wrong direction, or your red, white, and blue, or flipped if you're French, or, if you're the Americans, you're the Union, that's the bit with the stars, is upside down, then people go, oh, you're in trouble. I'll come help. So right around January 6th, the people who were storming the Capitol, they were intimating that they were also in distress. Their country had been taken over. So they were flying the U.S. flag upside down.
Amongst other flags.
Now, these same people are very keen on how we should be standing for the flag and respecting it and flying it correctly and always singing and doing all of the things and blah, blah, blah. But of course, flying it upside down is definitely one of the things you're not supposed to do unless you are in very serious trouble. Enter one Salmon Alito, whose house in Alexandria, Virginia, was in fact flying a U.S. flag upside down on January 6th. Like on the day, and for several weeks beforehand and after. They were flying this flag upside down, which was embraced by the Stop the Steal insurrectionists who attacked the Capitol. The neighbors said that, the wife did it. Or he said the wife did it. Because there was some
neighborhood politics where she was trying to battle, I guess, nasty signs allegedly from another neighbor. So instead of putting up a regular sign that maybe even, use a choice 4-letter word, she flipped up allegedly she flipped up the American flag.
So one of the things, of course, that everybody knows about the judicial branch is that there has to be extra lengths taken to not appear to be improper. Even if you're not, right? Like, let's say you really love McDonald's, right? You're a Supreme Court justice who loves McDonald's. You probably shouldn't be seen carrying a McDonald's cup around all the time, just in case you get a case in front of you that involves Wendy's. Because it looks like, of course you're going to favor McDonald's. You don't like them,
And you could just be quiet and continue to side in the favor of McDonald's.
Right. You can be biased and awful.
Yo.
Easy.
Yo.
And but not broadcast it, right? But the very minimal thing, ethics-wise, that they've got to do is do not broadcast your affiliations.
I feel like Scalia was good at this.
Yeah.
He was like, he's going to destroy, many things.
He's like unitary executive, ha, 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 but also Night at the Opera with RBG.
Yeah.
As you do.
Yeah. They loved him.
Yeah. People were kind of like, he's a cranky old guy, but he's kind of funny. And so, we'll give him a pass and name a building after him at George Mason. Okay. Alito's story about his wife, it's ridiculous on its face. I live in this neighborhood. I know what it's like. If you're a right-wing nut job and you live in Northern Virginia and you want to vocally put up signs and stuff about it, you're going to get some shit for it, because that just isn't what Northern Virginia is about. There's not a lot of that around there. So we're understandably what the fuck do you mean you got a MAGA sign on you?
Yeah.
So we're going to put up signs too. You want to play that game? We'll play the game. So did the neighbor get into it with him? I don't know. But if you are the wife of a Supreme Court justice, and if you are a Supreme Court justice, you need to go way out of your way to not do that.
But maybe, again, because at this certain point, ethics are gone in this court. And if you are the wife of a Supreme Court justice and you look at another wife of a Supreme Court justice who loads up buses of people and to bring bankrolls of people there, maybe flying the flag up there is nah. Not too bad.
How mad can they get at me? Look at Ginny.
Yo,
okay, bad.
These are not elected people.
It's bad, right? The appearance of impropriety, bad.
And if you came home and saw this, right, because I would think of someone like John Roberts, right? Which I don't know, but I would assume
If
like
Roberts came home and saw his wife flying an insurrectionist flag on their lawn, he would be like, take that down immediately and call all of our neighbors and apologize directly yourself. I didn't do that. I would never do. And he would issue a statement saying, I didn't do this.
Yeah.
Because you can't appear this way. Like,
it throws the whole, like, no matter how you rule, it throws the whole shit into like to chaos. Because again, this is where people look at and say this is an illegitimate court, and then the rule of law, it just kind of apart. It all starts to fall apart.
You can't be that. You can't.
Sound like this lady.
Yes.
Yo.
Look, if you walk by my house and see my Everton flag flying, which you will, and then you go, all right, well, I expect that guy to impartially rule on whether Liverpool is a shithead or not. No, you don't. You expect me to go, yeah, fuck those guys, regardless of the evidence or anything else, because, you can see the bias is there. This is something that all Americans understand in sports, but like so very clearly, right? Like, all of the refs are biased. It's so obvious.
Next month, this time is going to be woo. When
we're already getting the drips and drabs of it. Remember when we said that Louisiana case about the voting rights thing?
Yeah.
And those districts?
Yeah.
Well, we got it today in South Carolina. They're like, oh, and I was like, see, that's why they did that. Yeah. But wait, Salmon Alito, there's more. He has another house.
It's upstream.
That was a long swim for that joke.
Yeah, I was just sitting around waiting for it.
So he's got another house, of course, because he's very wealthy, since he doesn't have to pay for anything, and the billionaires pay for all of his fishing trips.
And he makes $250,000 a year, I think.
Yeah,
I think that's somewhere around
something like that. But he writes books and things too. So
speeches.
Yeah. He's got this house in New Jersey on Long Beach Island, which is it's a nice place to go for the beach. I've been there.
It's a good place.
It's underwater twice a day. I just want to be clear about that. LBI, very low lying.
But the EPA ruling.
It's underwater twice a day.
EPA guys ruled against this anyways.
So there at his house, he's got a flagpole too. This guy loves flags.
He's patriotic.
Yay. I mean, I love flags. You love flags. I have flag. You have flag.
I have flag.
Yeah.
Power to the people.
Is that what your flag says?
My
flags are all like sports themes. I cycle them through. I do have a U.S. flag currently, but it's right side up. And it has all 50 stars.
Yeah.
I'm going to add a 51st and just like put it off to the side.
Now you disrespected the flag.
Yeah, right. Colin Kaepernick and me. So he's got this other flagpole, and on the top of it, go ahead, Brian, show the photo. One of the things that's very interesting about this is that this is at the top of his flagpole.
The Stanford tree?
Yeah.
It looks like the Stanford tree.
Kind of a little. Doesn't have the S.
Yeah, it's just the S.
It's not, and it's not the Pines of Florence or Lebanon or any of that. No. It's interesting that it's at the top though, because one of the rules about flags is that you shall have no flag fly higher than the U.S. flag. That's one of the rules. So if you ever drive by a McDonald's, for example, you'll see the U.S. flag, then you'll see the state flag. It's a couple inches lower, and then you'll see the McDonald's flag yet a couple inches lower, because by rule, that's how it's got to go.
Yeah. And it's because, and this comes to a lot of things that we talk about, like you are pledging your allegiance beyond like partisanship with the states, but to the Constitution, which rules in the Union.
Right. To the republic for which it stands.
Yeah.
So, placing the flag is a signal of, importance. At the top of Salmon Alito's flagpole is this pine tree. And you're like, oh, okay. Well, he's into pine trees. He loves Christmas. It's like no big deal. It's not no big deal. Do you know what this flag is?
Something heaven flag.
It's called the Appeal to Heaven flag.
And this is it feels like
it's the Christo-fascist.
Okay, it is them.
Flag, yeah.
All right, I thought so.
So this flag is, it's a couple hundred years old. Basically, nobody's flown it since George Washington. flew it when he was like, hey, help us win the revolution. And this was the appeal to heaven. Since then, in the more modern context, it's been co-opted by the Christian nationalist right wing as a symbol that they want to the evangelicals, the Falwell types, that they're appealing to heaven to help them establish this Christian nation that they believe is the United States. Until about a decade ago, the appeal to heaven flag was mostly a historic relic, but since then it's been revived to represent a theological vision of what the United States should be and how it should be governed, said this guy who's a religion scholar at this fancy pants place. It's been promoted by various figures on the right. One of them, who great name, Dutch Sheets. It's his actual name.
My man Sheets.
Dutch Sheets has led a years-long campaign to present the flag to political figures, including Sarah Palin.
Political figures.
Mr. Sheets wrapped in the flag, an Indiana gubernatorial candidate. Republican members of Congress and state officials have displayed the flag. Among them, Doug Mastriano. You may remember him. Ran against Fetterman. Got trounced.
Yes.
A Pennsylvania state senator and leader of the Stop the Steal campaign, the highest ranking elected official known to show the flag is none other than Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. He's got it flying in his office.
Who Liz Cheney just eviscerates in this book. She just, because again, I think in one thing that I forgot about is really his role in.
He was the top litigator in the, hey, Donald Trump actually won 2020.
Yeah, we forget about
which he
that.
did not do that.
But he gave money to Ukraine.
So good for him.
Good for him.
Broken clock. A spokesman for Mike Johnson said that the speaker has, quote, long appreciated the rich history of the flag. Not a chance on God's green earth that this fucking guy from Louisiana had any idea what this flag originally stood for.
I know which rich history flag you really like.
Yep.
I know.
You can fly that one upside down. Nobody can tell the
No one
difference.
can tell the difference. That one there.
It's already in distress.
It's already in distress because you lost.
Yeah.
Or maybe you won. I don't know. Nowadays, it feels
the
a little
story,
shaky.
it looks like they won. So, yeah, he's flying this. It's again, it's like, why? If it's because you think you can get away with it,
some
the impunity of it.
But I do wonder, right? Has everybody? I mean, it feels like our Supreme Court justices have went to their corners, and they're like, for the most part. I mean, two of them, him and
neighbor Clarence.
Those two have went to their corners.
Look, if John Roberts has half a spine, he's got to do something about this. And if the Senate had any spine, they would do something about it. But they don't have it.
And that's the problem, because if, as I understand it, this is a different branch of government.
That's correct.
It should be, and this is what Congress really should do: slash the fucking court's funding.
They can't.
Why not?
That's not how that works.
They control the purse of that.
They can do that.
They should do that. That's it.
But they can't do, like, what? Cut their salaries? All it would do is hurt the staff.
Something needs to be done. I don't know.
Impeachment exists.
That's not happening either.
Roberts has power and authority, and Congress can change the makeup of the court. All of that is real.
Yeah, and I as people ask for this court to look different, for them to add justices to it. I mean, this just add this. What do you want me to?
Term limits.
Term limits at the bare minimum, right?
Yeah,
at the bare minimum.
Age requirements. Something. Maybe not.
No,
I don't know
if we do the age.
Term limits for sure.
Term limits at the bare minimum. But like when people say, "Hey, I want to drastically change what the court looks like or pack the court," I can't. How can anybody get mad at that anymore? Because when you see something like this, it's like, what other choice? Like, who cares? Let's just throw our hands up and just start fucking around, right? I mean, let's experiment with the experiment.
Let's put it in terms that regular Americans can understand. Imagine if the referees of NFL games wore the shirts or the jerseys of the team that they actually wanted to win the game. Imagine that. Would you go to that game and think that when they said, oh, yeah, that was pass interference, that it was legitimate?
especially for a bunch of individuals who are really hell-bent on telling folks to read the text. Like, I think if
You're doing the thing where you think that they mean what they say. They're
like,
lying about that.
But
you know that?
I understand that they know the text. That's the reason why they're able to do this, is because they understand the text so well. So they can go ahead and, again, rule how they do when different cases come before them. But, like, you look through any of these Federalist Papers, if you look through the actual Constitution, like, you know, like, there's talk about this partisanship and, like, how the framers try to go against this type of thing. And it's like it's clear. Like,
if the concept of rule of law is to exist, it has to work because everybody agrees to it. There isn't a mechanism to enforce it. It has to work off of trust. And so if you do anything to damage that trust or to tarnish the impartiality of any piece of this, it no longer functions. It literally doesn't function.
You have to believe in it. And I think what's happening now is a lot of these events are causing many people to stop believing in this. And when it's this, and that gets real, and it's only going to backfire, because the one thing, like, people in this country like to, like, buy things and they like to enjoy, like, that's for the ones who can't, even the ones who can't really afford it, like
credit card debts at an all-time high.
Yeah. And all of that, right? And maybe people are ready to burn the whole shit down. All right, maybe that's cool. I hope everyone's ready.
They're not.
No one's not. I guess
they're not.
No one's ready for that. And I don't know. But an action like this from a Supreme Court justice is despicable, in a sense, to be honest. Like,
it is.
And I think, again, if we tie this into the election, got to play the game of politics, and a vote for Joe Biden is a vote to have
for the Republic, for which it stands.
Yeah, but even, like, I look at this court, it's a vote for the next Supreme Court justice. I think several, yeah.
God willing.
Yeah. No,
it is okay. We stress this a lot, but, like, put it in honestly, let's put sports terms is the only thing that I think really makes sense here. Let's look at the conference finals in the NBA, right? Okay. Who's in the Eastern Conference Finals?
Celtics and the Pacers.
Imagine.
Celtics up 2.
Imagine if the Pacers show up to the game and the referees are wearing Boston shirts. Would they play the game?
Which has happened.
Would they play the game?
They have to.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do. They have to.
Let's say they don't play the game. It throws the whole thing in the shits.
Right. Then the whole finals collapses. Imagine if you showed up.
You don't have a winner.
And the NBA referees are wearing the shirt of your opponent. You'd be like, well, fuck, I'm not playing this game. There's no way they're going to be impartial. No way.
Okay. I understand the analogy, but still you have to play.
Why?
Again, it even though you say it's like, why should I? Because it's like, what's the point? You know, you're going to just let them win and whatever, regardless. But still, it's like, you got to put it in the books. It has to be. It has.
No.
I kind of agree with him, because is that an analogous to going out to vote, right? You have to continue to play this game.
No, it's not that. At some point, though,
yes.
At some point,
people
boycotting a vote is a legitimate way to say this whole thing is bullshit.
I wonder, though, if people, like, right when you say that, I wonder if a lot of people look at this upcoming election and they say boycotting the vote for allowing this fucking guy to come back.
I don't mean that in that context.
I think people look at that. I understand that,
but, like, when you find out that, you know, so-and-so dictator won and he got 90% of the vote, and then it turns out that there was only 10% turnout or whatever, it's not legitimate.
Of course. Well, okay, I'll give you a realistic. Robert Mugabe, like I said, I lived in Zimbabwe for 4 years. Okay? That man dictated how that country ran for 30 plus years.
Yes.
And the thing, though, is like he, in a way, rigged it. Because
directly rigged it.
Well, here's how he rigged it. he manipulated those in the rural areas. Pretty much because, and based off of some of the rules they put out there while I was living there, you had to have licenses to be able to listen to a radio and watch TV and stuff like that. And on top of that, he can put out whatever news press he wants to. And whenever he goes into those rural areas, he spewed out a whole bunch of nonsense to the point where it's like he's freaking them out, saying that the white man's coming to kick your shit and all that stuff.
It's the populist demagogue fucking playbook.
Right,
So,
but nobody regarded Mugabe as a legitimate leader.
No, here's the thing.
The rest of the world didn't.
The rest of true, but let's put it this way. By the time Zimbabwe and Britain made their peace and say, hey, you can take this land, it's all yours again. At the time, it's like there was potential for Mugabe to lead Zimbabwe in a promising way. Yes. And after the independence. But by the time, let's say, when I was there, especially let's say I would roughly say about 80 going into the 90s, that's when people were kind of like, okay, dude, it's time for you to go. It's like you got us here, but let's move on. Unfortunately,
I'm not interested in like relitigating the story of Rhodesia Zimbabwe.
What I'm saying here is it's like it got to the point where it's like, okay, he found ways to sort of like, I need to stay here. And that's how he did it. And it's like, and I think that's how in this day and age of what you're talking about is a lot of people are trying to find ways to stay in the game. They do a whole bunch of, changing the maps, either or changing.
Yeah, it's very clear.
It's clear. But the thing is, here in America, we figure it's like, oh, okay, it's part of the game plan. We can't change it.
Look, we've talked about this several times before. The conservatives aren't ever going to win on the battle of ideas. So the only way to do it is to try to rig the system, whether it's by changing the rules about voting or by changing the rules about other things. That's not really what we're talking about here. We're talking about the absolute perception of impropriety. It is obvious that Alito would rule on cases the same way, regardless of what he's doing, of which flag he's got over which house. But to outright signal this stuff throws into question the legitimacy of anything. If you've ever been playing a game, basketball or otherwise, and the opponent is cheating with the help of the referee, stop playing. You don't play. I'm not saying that people should disengage from the political process currently. I'm saying if the person wins with the help of the referee who's wearing the jersey that they're wearing, nobody's looking at that and going, oh, that's a legitimate championship.
Let me ask a question. Has there ever come a point where a Supreme Court judge was removed?
Yes.
Prior to him quitting?
There have been a handful of impeachments.
Not many, though.
Okay.
Not many.
The mechanism exists. It needs to be used, and it needs to be used by people who have enough sense to look at themselves in the mirror and say, this guy feels so much impunity to do any fucking thing he wants. He's literally flying the flag of the insurrection because he knows that nobody can touch him.
He's the highest court in the land.
Yeah, the Pacers will not play a game if the referees are wearing the Celtics uniforms. I would never do that. I watch a lot of
Okay, based off what you're saying there, then you pretty much forfeit.
Yes, there are times when the answer is forfeit, because even if you win, even if Indiana scores 1,000 points, and we all see the ball go through the basket hundreds of times, the referee wearing his Celtics jersey is going to say, no, it didn't. And we're all going to be like, what the fuck? Yeah, it did. And he's going to be like, no, it didn't. And because he said, no, it didn't, no, it didn't. And we're all going to be like, that can't be right. That's what we're looking at on this court. We're watching in real time Indiana scoring baskets that the Celtics referees are disallowing.
Okay, so then once again, you get to the point where it's like, okay, this actually has happened. Again, based off the analogy you're putting out there, we've seen this happen. There has been a committee that came in and removed that rep. The unfortunate thing, like you just said, is like there are committees that deal with the Supreme Court.
Yeah,
and
it's called the Senate.
Right. So again, as long as they're going to bicker back and forth, and especially on the GOP side, because they want to keep their side.
They're on the same team.
Right. So it's
They're
not going to
all part of the same fix.
Mm-hmm.
If you've ever coached a team and found out that there was a fix in on your team, the right thing to do is pull your players off the field and say, fuck this, we're going home. It doesn't matter what we do. Score 18 touchdowns, you're still not going to count it. It doesn't matter. We're going home. This is not a real game. The rules of this are not fair. We're going home. That's the right thing to do. Alito is out here broadcasting what he thinks should happen.
There's no option to go home in this point. Like, what is the point? Like, we don't bring cases in front of them?
No. There's no option to go home in this case. The Senate is watching this happen and doing nothing about it, which makes them complicit.
Yeah, I mean, because isn't it going to take 2/3?
It would.
Can't get fucking 2/3 for fucking
a post office.
Yeah, exactly. It's what are we doing? Like, and everybody's gonna tell you, people are gonna tell you about the filibuster and all these things. That
the hopeless aspect of this eventually turns into forfeiting, taking your team and going home. This is bullshit. And the second that happens,
remember the last time that happened.
The second that happens, the republic falls.
Remember, they took the ball home, and then they threw one. They threw a cannonball at something. And
if Alito wants to fly these flags, he's telling everybody he dares them to unmake the republic. That's what he's doing. And it would take somebody with enough courage to say, this is completely unacceptable. Roberts has the ability to do this. He can lean on him and say, this is it. Get off my court. You're tarnishing the reputation of this institution. And if you want to stay on here, I am going to go to Congress and I'm going to tell every single senator about every single thing that you've done illegal. And I'm going to bury you in litigation.
You're going to throw off George W. Bush appointed.
Yeah, there's no hope.
The George W. Bush appointed Chief Justice.
I'm not saying it's
going to then go and tell the Donald Trump appointed Associate Justice to get off his court and then risk the violence and the backlash. For folks who really don't like, those folks really don't like Roberts already. They already think he's a face.
Hamilton told everybody to vote for Jefferson. It can happen. People can understand to put their country ahead of their own interests. It is possible. Does Roberts have the courage? Probably not. But it is possible.
He sees a voting rights case and he'll be back and be off it.
Right. As long as black people aren't voting, he's fine. Speaking of
it took a long time on that one. Good God. That's a long one.
Speaking of somebody who doesn't want black folks to vote, Rudy. All right,
he's going, he'll end up black.
He likes his coffee black.
Yeah. The hair dye.
It's chocolatey and gentle on your tummy. Don't worry, that's coming up. All right, here's the thing. This is a bit of a follow-up on a story that we talked about, last week?
Yeah.
We told the story about how Rudy's been ducking his summons, right? He was indicted in Arizona for fake election stuff.
The doorman wouldn't come get.
Yeah, he wouldn't. They wouldn't let him in. So he's like, you never served me. It didn't happen. Blah blah blah. Okay. After evading and publicly taunting Arizona prosecutors, Rudy Giuliani is now expected to appear in court in Phoenix. He did actually on Tuesday to face criminal charges linked to his alleged efforts to overturn Trump's loss in 2020. Here's the funniest bit about this. He was like, you haven't served me. It didn't happen. I'm not indicted, blah, blah, blah. He had a birthday party. And he live streamed the birthday party.
So dumb. And location services got him. I legit, because I was just listening, because a lot of folks, this is like a big tech thing as well, too. People don't understand that, like, a lot of these apps are grabbing your location services on there, and you turn them on, and you give, and that can be used from repo to summons.
This didn't even really take that. The agents just waited outside the birthday party.
Oh, because they figured out here. Oh,
On Friday, Rudy attended a surprise 80th birthday party. Wasn't that much of a surprise, apparently, for the agents. That was thrown by a fundraiser and his co-host Maria Ryan on his now canceled WABC show. He said, but then he told everybody that it was happening in a live stream. So the process servers just went there. There's even some story that they were like in the crowd singing happy birthday to him.
And then just hand the summon.
That may or may not have happened.
Hilarious if you did,
The agents waited outside of the party for some time, watching guests arrive and leave. The person said attendees included former Trump advisor and right-wing podcaster Steve Bannon, who is also currently on the lam because he needs to go serve his time for contempt of Congress. Giuliani was among the last guests to leave, and agents served him outside. Rudy Giuliani, one of the agents said, and he turned around and he's like, yeah. And they handed him the papers, like, you've been served. On that very day, on the day that he reached the bankruptcy agreement, which he finally agreed to stop sending people to try to kill Shay Moss and her grandmother, he launched a what?
Coffee brand.
Now you're a coffee guy.
Yeah, I do enjoy coffee.
So I can't really speak to this. I'm going to let you explain what is this thing that is happening? Why is he the same color as his shirt?
Well,
what's happening here?
He's launching coffee or freaking red beans and rice. Yes. So he lost the coffee brand. And I assume, as the article mentions, that he would use this coffee brand that's called Rudy, as you see there, to help him get out of the massive debts that he has. And it's $30 for 2 pounds of the finest bean, quote unquote, the finest beans.
So what? I don't know what a pound of coffee costs, like, sort of regular run of the mill, like $10.
Yeah, about that. Yeah, $12.99 maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is a bit overpriced.
It's a bit overpriced. I love the quote. If I put my name on something, I truly believe in it. End quote. The 79-year-old said in a promotional video touting the 3 different blends of quote unquote Rudy coffee.
Yeah.
These are the 3 blends. You have bold, decaf, and morning.
So what does this mean? A decaf, I understand.
Stupid.
Why are you
why drink something else?
Even I know better.
I asked the bold is the dark roast.
Yeah.
And then morning, this is the light blend.
5 different kinds of caffeine.
Oh, why didn't we team up with him?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's obvious.
I also like that they say Giuliani's face is on every bag with a bold blend featuring images of young looking former prosecutors, 3 men who resemble like New York mobsters. So yes,
Brian, show the image if you can.
Is it up there again?
Yeah, I like that it says Rudy's face, because like the picture on this coffee, Rudy hasn't looked like this in 35 years. Oh, here it comes.
Yeah. So as I stumbled over that again of a younger looking former prosecutor,
with hair,
Rudy, and then
that's the bowl.
There's the bowl with the mobsters in the back.
Morning is bald Rudy from 1997. Well, who is that? Doesn't even look like him.
Crazy.
Okay. So now we know what was actually dripping down his temple.
Yeah.
This is
everybody likes to drip.
Drip coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, he owes a shit ton of money to the IRS.
Yeah, but that's where the coffee. Hey,
and he got fired. He was making $15,000 a month off of his job on WABC.
That's insane.
That's crazy. I don't make that much.
No.
To do what? To rant into a microphone? I've been ranting into this microphone for almost a decade. I ain't made shit. Okay. Do you have a TED Talk?
Yeah, this one's simple here. This one comes out, and I'm pretty sure everybody's heard about this one. But The Guardian, This is a poll that they had out, and a majority of Americans wrongly believe the U.S. is in a recession.
Yes.
And most blame Biden.
Yes.
The numbers are very actually jarring, to be honest. Nearly 3 in 5 Americans wrongly believe that the U.S. is in an economic recession, and the majority blame the Biden administration, according to a Harris poll conducted exclusively for The Guardian. Poll highlighted many misconceptions people have about the economy. Let's listen to a few. 55% believe the economy is shrinking, and 56% think the U.S. is experiencing a recession. Though broadest measures on the economy, GDP, gross domestic product, has been growing. It's grew at an alarming rate.
It's so fast that it's causing inflation. You cannot have inflation and a recession at the same time. It's not physically possible.
All right, here we go. 49% believe the S&P 500 stock market index is down for the year, though the index went up about 24% in 2023.
Jesus Christ.
And it's up more than 12% this year.
Dow hit 40,000.
Yes, this is very scary to read.
Who is falling for this?
I think the numbers line up with what's being two things. And I heard this. I forgot where I heard this specifically.
Marketplace is where you heard it. I'm sure it's where you heard it.
But specifically where people are getting their information from, right? I assume these numbers will line up at Fox. If you're watching Fox News, I'm pretty sure you're hearing this over and over again, and that's a majority of people who are, again, live in this country. And also, too, maybe up until the last month and a half, even regular media has been forecasting a recession over and over and over again.
Yeah,
they
there's
did
been
that
this
for like a whole year.
For a whole year, they were talking about the looming recession.
And I get why. I understand.
Yeah.
But what I've come to understand also is that things have changed drastically with COVID. The models don't really, they generally work, but we really don't know what the fuck's going on. We really didn't know what the fuck was going on before.
Yeah, I think that's more the case. Is that what we thought was how things worked isn't how things ever worked. Because now we're in a place where the Fed injected a ton of money into the economy, and it didn't cause the thing that everybody expects it to do. With the job market still strong, wages are still up.
And they raised the borrowing rates, and that has not caused the immediate effect either.
Yeah. So up
until maybe the last report on consumer spending, people have been spending.
And people are spending, and they're carrying a lot of it in credit card debt.
Which is
worrying, and
that's
high interest rates make that worse. But if eventually things kind of level off and they can cut it, then some of that's going to go down too. The thing that is remarkable is how many people believe that there is a recession and inflation.
Yeah.
Those two things are physically impossible to have happen. You can't have a balloon that is deflating and inflating at the same time.
Here's one for you. 49% believe unemployment is at a 50-year high, though unemployment rate has been under 4%. And
who the fuck are these? How many people?
49%.
No way. In what poll? Of how many? Of who?
This is a lot
of old people watching Newsmax. There's not a chance.
I look again.
Do you?
The Harris polls? I mean, that's
okay. Do you have a job, or do you know people who have a job that requires them to maintain a staff?
Yes.
Okay. Have any of them said to you, "I'm fully staffed" in the last 3 or 4 years?
We could use more people.
To a man.
Yeah.
Every day of my life in the last 5 years in my job has been try to hire people. There's no, what? I wish that was true. I could afford to hire a few more people and not have to pay so much.
And I mean,
how is there a wage increases and inflation at 49% unemployment? What the fuck are they talking about?
I think also too, right? They look across the political spectrum. Most respondents believe inflation is increasing. Got Republicans at 80%, independents at 74%, Democrats at 61%. I think those two, I think the middle and the bottom, the independents and Democrats, are more alarming numbers to be at 61 and 74.
They think that there's increasing inflation?
Which is crazy.
It's not happening.
It was at 9%.
Yeah, and it's
And
down at like 4. Or,
and even maybe lower than that.
Yeah, under 3.
Yes, yeah. Like, but they believe it's steadily increasing.
To what? Look, people, just math. If inflation was
9% in June of 2022, it's at 3.4 in April.
That's the reality.
Yeah, and also too, quiet as kept. The Fed probably never says maybe 3.4, 3 is the new number. I don't know. Maybe it might be 2%.
3 might be all right.
It might be 2%. Might be hard to get to.
As long as wages outpace it.
Exactly. Like this is a lot. I think this poll. I know we can't get caught too much polls, and I know President Biden has been out and saying don't really trust the polls around certain things, which I get. But this
they're
is alarming.
spending as if it's not that. Right. They're buying stuff.
But these same people you ask, well, how are you doing? Like, I'm doing great, but everybody else is not doing great. I don't know why I made them talk like this. This was an alarming thing to read.
I need like a third camera to look at to be just like, what the fuck are we? What?
Alarming. I mean, again, and this goes back to the, like, the way people feel don't equal the facts, but people move on feelings. And it worries me a little bit
But they also move on their own actual wallets, and they are buying stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know. It was just an insane read on there. So if you want to check that out, go to The Guardian.
Whew.
Sorry.
All right.
Yeah, I tell you, I can sadden you without the.
No, you want to get on to like even more dumb shit?
Yeah, let's get sadder.
Trump trials.
Oh,
It's not sad. This is silly.
So this is the end. We're going into what's the end of this, right? Because they tried to get him. Well, not tried, but there was talk of him going on this.
Okay, so Trump told everybody he was going to testify. Nothing could stop him, and of course he didn't.
The smart lawyer stopped him.
His lawyers wouldn't let him do that. And also, I don't know if you know this, Trump lies about everything all the time.
Yeah.
So the case is rested. The prosecution and the defense have rested. The judge is working out jury instructions right now, so everything's kind of dark. And with the holiday coming up, he's like, nobody's doing nothing. We're just going to work out the details, and everybody be back on Tuesday. The defense only called really one witness, which was this guy called Costello, Robert Costello.
This guy is wild. Looks
like a crazy. He looks like the Penguin.
Yeah. That man looks like he's up to no good.
There is this story going around that Trump made his defense call this guy because Trump told everybody that he's a good lawyer and a well-respected lawyer. The reality is, apparently, he is neither of those things.
The judge despised this person.
The judge, who this guy has argued in front of before, took him to task and was like, yo, you can't object to shit from the witness stand. You don't get to say strike that. If you mock me from the witness stand, I'm going to throw you in the fucking clink. Like, the dude tried to stare him down. The judge was like, you're doing what now? He cleared the courtroom. Everybody out. Because he doesn't want to prejudice the jury. He doesn't want this getting out to the press. But, of course, some of this gets recorded.
Yeah.
And he dressed him down. He's like, if you ever look at me like that again, I'm going to put you in jail. If you ever say that again, I'm going to put you in jail.
Look at this guy.
You don't say strike that. I say strike that. I'm the judge. You're not. Do you understand me? He's like, yes, sir. He's like, no, I didn't hear you. He's like, yes, sir. That's not even like the big deal.
Right.
Because the jury didn't see that. What they did see is that this guy is not a good lawyer. Here's the story.
That seems to be who he has around him.
Here's the story. Cohen obviously wanted to turn state's evidence and rat on Trump.
Yeah.
And so the Trump people were like, oh, we can't let that happen. We got to get somebody to him. And in the most like Hollywood mafioso way possible, they're like, we'll sign him a lawyer and we'll pay for the lawyer. And then he'll have to do what the lawyer says. But Cohen wasn't about to do that because he's a lawyer himself and he's also a sleazeball. So he understands how the other sleazeballs operate. And so here comes Costello and he's like, I'm your lawyer, right? And Cohen's like, no.
Trump stopped picking up my calls a long time ago.
Yeah, and it gets worse. All right. Prosecutor Susan Hoffinger continued her cross-examination of Costello by asking him about his first meeting with Cohen back in 2018 when a panic Cohen was considering hiring him as a lawyer. Hoffinger asked whether Costello touted his ties to Trump ally Rudy Giuliani during the meeting when they discussed Costello's possibly representing Cohen. Costello replied, no, I didn't say that to him. Hoffinger then showed him an email he sent to Cohen 2 days after their initial meeting. Quote, I am sure you saw the news that Rudy is joining the Trump legal team. I told you that my relationship with Rudy could be very, very useful to you, the email said.
And you can't really do this with Michael Cohen, because if you think like Michael Cohen's relationship to Donald Trump before he becomes president is like, that's his direct report. Like, right?
Yeah.
Like it's and at a certain point, once you cut Cohen off from like being able just to get to like at this point, he's going through Costello to get to Rudy, almost like if he needs, like that's the lineage.
He knows not to trust that.
Yeah, you can't do that. Especially as a man who used to be tied to the boss.
Yeah.
Like, it's insane. Like,
he sent Cohen another email later that read, quote, I spoke with Rudy. Very, very positive. You are loved. If you want to call me, I will give you the details. Sleep well tonight. You have friends in high places. After he told the prosecutor, no, he didn't do that.
Yo, what type of sleeping with official shit does they say?
Asked by Hoffinger whether, quote, friends was a reference to Trump, Costello acknowledged that it was. Costello got visibly frustrated as Hoffinger didn't allow him to elaborate on some of the details. As you said yesterday, the email speaks for itself, correct? Sometimes, Costello responded. She then asked Costello about an email in which he appeared to be pushing Cohen not to listen to calls for him to cooperate, which Costello denied.
Of course.
Yeah, she asked him whether he thought Cohen was playing him and Trump. He said, no. She then showed an email Costello sent to another lawyer in which he wrote, quote, what should I say to this asshole? He is playing the most powerful man on the planet. This guy is like directly contradicting himself.
And the jury heard this.
And the jury heard all of this. On the stand, Mr. Costello repeatedly denied pressuring Cohen to do anything and claimed that he merely treated him as a client and his interests in mind and wasn't chasing an opportunity to represent him. And he kept saying, oh yeah, Cohen had me on retainer. He just hadn't paid yet. He hired me. He was all this stuff. Cohen never signed a retainer agreement and never considered Mr. Costello his attorney.
Not real.
And on the stand, they asked him, do you have a signed retainer? And he goes, no, doesn't. You sure he's a defense witness? Speaking of which, Trump's orbit of stupid. Okay. One of the things about Donald Trump is that he has fake Twitter.
No, it's the truth.
No, it's fake Twitter.
The truth. What do you mean it's fake? It's the truth.
You can't handle the truth. Somebody posted a video about what will happen if Trump gets elected president again. And in the most benign way to describe this, it involved a bunch of newspaper headlines. And it appears as if the person basically filled in the rest of the newspaper with stock gobbledygook from Wikipedia and a few other places.
Or AI.
Very well, or AI filled it in for him. But
yeah.
There are bits of this that are nonsensical bullshit. But one part of it that is not nonsensical bullshit is in the video, which Trump then reshared, was this line about reestablishing a unified Reich. At the very least, to give them the
run for the hills, my friend,
maximum amount of credit. This was just like they copy and pasted a bunch of stuff and are bad at proofreading. At the very least.
Okay, continue.
It ain't that.
He's been doing this.
He's been doing
this for what? At this point, we're at 6 years now.
Yeah.
Going on damn near. I mean, yeah, man. No, I guess it's 8 years in a sense.
It's outright Nazi propaganda.
He always is dropping some breadcrumbs. Always a little breadcrumbs for the Nazis.
Right. So the Trump MO is to say the Nazi thing, wait until people catch you for it, and then say, look, I don't know whether it is or not, and just try to pretend like it didn't happen or like you didn't have any control over it or whatever. He reposted it.
He always reposts.
Yes. And we all talk about him being really stupid, and he is. He is really, really stupid about certain things. This is a very specific thing that he's doing because he has a very specific audience that he's talking to about very specific topics. And this was that. So I just wanted, not to get down too deep of a tangent, but I just want to get out there to my Jewish brothers and sisters and say, tribe to tribe, if you think that somehow this guy is a better defender of the Jewish people and will protect you from anti-Semitism, he's publishing stuff about reunified Reichs. And I don't care what you think about Gaza or any of this other stuff. This is the guy who called the Nazis very fine people. So, like, just please don't be that. Don't be the collaborators. I don't want to throw that at my cousins and stuff, but not at my actual cousins.
Oh, yeah.
Figurative cousins. Don't be collaborators. You don't want to be that. Please don't be that.
You know how sick and
that's a word I don't ever use.
Yeah.
But that's,
you know how I guess sick it is in the sense that, and granted, I mean, some of it's different, but and yeah, we could look at both of our communities and be like, hey, like, please don't vote for this other, like, I don't know, like, I'm not sure what you see. I know you got businesses you want to open up, and those PPP loans was good and whatever. All right, cool. All right, but having this shit shouldn't be that. It shouldn't be that foggy.
No.
But there's a lot of fog. There's a lot of noise.
I shouldn't have to convince you that the guy who is friends with the people who are talking about exterminating the rest of us, who invites the people who want to exterminate you and me to dinner, that guy's a problem.
No matter what you feel about, again, the incumbent, I don't like you could, again, I might have some similar feelings, but like put up against him, it's just, I don't know why we're trying to explain this to folks. But again, you guys are telling me we're in a recession, so what the fuck?
Yeah, right. Yeah, you're making up economic data too. You're out here able to afford all kinds of fancy shit, but you're in a recession.
I don't know, man.
Want to be a billionaire so fucking bad. All right, speaking of billionaires.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
So your buddy Danny. Brian loves Dan Snyder. Yeah. So Dan Snyder famously got played by Albert Hainsworth for $92 million for him to sit on the bench. Turns out he's easily fooled by other people. So this Hollywood studio was like, hey, we want to make a movie about Donald Trump. And Dan Snyder was like, hey, I love that guy. Here's a bunch of money. And they're like, cool. And then they made the movie. And it's not very flattering, to say the least. It shows him raping Ivana and a bunch of other stuff. Creative license, maybe. Taken directly from her testimony in their divorce case. Also very true. Danny Boy is not happy.
Trump might be giving him a call. That's why.
No, I think this is his own thing. He's like, this isn't what I wanted my money used for. And he's trying to like sue them about this. And they're like, look, we have creative control. You signed the contract.
You might give him. Dan, I seen your name attached to it.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. Seems that you like this movie.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You bankrolled
You
this
bankrolled
movie
this
that called
movie,
me a
doesn't-
bunch of
lot
things.
of nice things.
Yeah, right.
I didn't do anything. I don't even like that woman.
No, he buried her on the golf course.
Exactly. Yo, sick.
Yeah,
I forgot.
he
that.
putts right over her all the time. Remember, she's on the
Yeah,
golf
it's on the
course.
I forgot that happened. Yo,
Yes, that's
he
also
wins
true.
again.
Speaking of which, the debate. I just wanted, we didn't get a chance to talk about this last week. I just want to be really clear to everybody.
It's gonna happen.
It's not going to happen.
gonna happen.
It's zero
It's
chance.
gonna happen.
You want to bet? What was our
What's
last
the
bet?
last bet? I won that one too.
I think I paid you
Yeah, you
your
paid me,
six
but
bet.
what was the bet? I forgot the bet.
That was about soccer.
About soccer? No, this one, no, they're going to debate. One debate, especially because where the debates are at. The first one's in June, right? First one's coming up.
Supposedly.
That's enough. That's a safe time. I think these debates are foolish in the sense that they're not following the traditional.
Well, they
rules.
have no purpose.
Yeah, like it doesn't fall into whatever the committee is. I forgot the committee that.
Well, they're all
They-
mad about this too.
They should be. Yeah, I mean, because again,
They got nixed out.
And some of the shit, I think, like no crowds, I think makes sense. I think that makes sense.
Cutting the mics.
Cutting the mics, I think, makes sense as well too. That I think it happens. I think here's my hot take. I think the debate happens. I think Donald Trump walks off the stage.
Okay.
He walks.
He'll get the introduction.
Something is said.
He'll say probably hi, bye, whatever
No, he's
limited.
gonna go on those long diatribes and they're gonna kill the mic, and he's gonna be like, it's enough, and he's gonna walk off. I guarantee you.
Okay.
That's what I'm calling.
All right. I'm gonna bet the debate never happens. And 6-pack of something analogous to Hop Slam.
Yeah, whatever.
That's the bet.
There it is.
Okay.
There it is.
You saw it live. Yeah, he's not going to do it. And people are like, well, he can't back out of it because
Yes,
he publicly said he was going to do it anytime, any place. Yo, if you keep thinking that Donald Trump ever has to stick to anything he says in front of a microphone, camera, or otherwise, you're full of shit. He could tell everybody, I never said that. And he'll just walk away and he'll go to his next rally and go, can you believe these guys said I agreed to a debate? And his people will go, yeah. Like,
is he having a rally today or tomorrow?
he was in the South Bronx.
Right? Was it today?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to go and look back and see.
People have been posting the pictures
As big as the Rod Stewart
as
concert.
the Rod Stewart concert at Rio. Yeah. You may remember that he
Yes.
held a rally in New Jersey.
Yeah.
And then Roger Stone posted a picture of the Rod Stewart concert crowd from 1994 and said, look at this crowd that Donald Trump had in New Jersey. And people quickly pointed out, like, well, that's Rio in 1994. And so now everybody's been dragging him about posting pictures of Obama's inauguration and other large crowds saying, like, oh, look at, Trump's crowd. He's not going to do the debate. And not only that, is like, there's no public agreement that he makes that will ever stick to him. So he'll just say, I never did that. I never said that. Or it's bullshit. It's stupid.
No, because
or he'll lie about something and he'll say they changed the rules on me and I'm not showing up.
The debate allows him, unless his handlers like make sure he doesn't do it there, but the debate allows him to get into almost try to like rally his base, and he can kind of go up there and spew his lies. And like, again,
Or he can just not do the debate and say that he was prevented because the judge didn't lie. I mean, he told everybody the judge wouldn't let him testify.
That's fair.
And the judge had to take time out of court and be like, no, idiot, you get to testify. That's not what a gag order is.
I think he does. I think he does his first debate. I really think he.
All right, well, everybody
That's
saw
coming soon. What's
the
that,
bet.
June?
It's in the middle of June.
Middle of June, yeah.
So, we're off. I think, was it next week or the week after that? It's next week, right? So we're gonna find out really soon. So, Hop Slam
Stay tuned.
equivalent. I don't know what you got at your Total Wine, but
And keep in mind, he still hasn't picked a running mate.
No, but that doesn't matter either. It's going to be Nikki Haley, apparently. She's going to vote for him.
Yeah, that's insane.
Who knew she was that much of a bird brain?
Oh.
That's his word.
It's his words. Those are his words.
All right, we come to the end of the show. You hear that music? I do.
I hope the vice president, whoever he is or whoever she is,
It's going to be
there.
she.
Hang in
Hang
there.
in there.
Hang in there.
Yeah. I hope it doesn't get too dark. Whew. This is history.
It's tight.
All right. You hear that music, which is our AI that we helped write. We want to say thanks to Bo.
Yes, thank you, Bo.
Bo Corley, you were amazing. We can't wait to have you back. We are going to cut up that part of the episode and maybe we'll post that separately since you don't have to be associated with this nonsense.
Yeah, exactly.
Please go get his book.
Yes, grab his book.
Join the One Take community. Be a part of everything.
Smash that Amazon pre-order.
Yeah, and learn to cook all the cool stuff that he talks about. It's very important.
And to shop better.
Yeah,
I thought that was
know about your ingredients. Thanks as always to our radio partners, Kesha, Pitbull, and Neo.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Throwbacks.
Thanks to NOTN for keeping us on. That's how old I am.
Wow.
For keeping us on for another week. Thanks to our home on the interwebs, goplaymedia.com, and thanks as always to our family here at Beltway Radio for making us sound as smooth as Marjorie's bleach blonde, bad built, butch body. See, I got it.
Well said.
Yep.
Well said.
All right, where can everybody get you on the social medias?
You can find me on Instagram at KetchumCordy. You can find me on the hosting that is X, formerly known as Twitter, at DC Cortez. And you can find me, usually being a flaming liberal, on Blue Sky, and now has DM capabilities at DC Cortez.
Right, and you can find me on the show on Twitter at ChipChatRR. You can find us on Facebook or Instagram at RipChipChat, and you can of course find us every Thursday night at 9:30 here on Beltway Radio and Beyond. I'm Chip. That says that's Brian. That was Bo. You've been listening to Chip Chat on Beltway Radio and Beyond.
Okay.
Sweeps.
Chip Chat Radio. We got so much, so give you the news in case you didn't know. Keep the public well informed of the topic. Sometimes the news today is hard to process. That's why Chip and Tez will help you out, let you know what we're all about. We may tell jokes, we may drink a couple beers, and thank you for listening.